Hello, my name is Gregory Horonieka, and it's short description about my experiment saxophone timbre control under sensoric deprivation. The aim of this experiment to explore how musicians, saxophone players, control timbre under different conditions, include sensoric deprivation. And this experiment consists of three parts. The first part, when the musician, saxophone player, play free improvisation and don't use any limitation about this. The second part, it's part with sensoric deprivation, and the third part is reflection from musicians. I prepare the questionnaire with 10 questions, but it's gonna be like some reflections after the experiments. We will use some materials for visual isolation, for sound isolation. Also, I will include some extra one thing, follow the ideas of deprivation cameras, and we will use the basin with the water, and the musician will put the legs into the water.
My name is Dominikas Norkos. I played saxophone for almost 15 years probably. I usually play free improvised music or jazz because I'm still studying jazz music at the academy. Uh, yeah. Yeah, so when I was playing normally, I was just trying to connect everything musically, but my goal was to try to do a lot of different extended techniques and still try to have a coherent picture of music. So that's what I did. But when I started to play with that sensory deprivation, what happened? I started with an open slap, and it felt so weird because I couldn't hear the notes, but I was feeling, because when you do it, that you have this like punch back, to your mouth. So, and also the instrument vibrates, so I could feel that. So I knew that I was doing it, but I couldn't hear the notes. So I was at first not sure if I was doing it properly, if the notes are coming out, or is just me pushing the ear. But I tried to do it a couple more times, and I realized that I just can't hear anything. So that was very interesting. And then I tried actually just playing different things. I was not trying to keep the musical picture because I realized that I don't think I can do it. And I just wanted to see how different things sound. So I just tried to do that. And it was very surprising because I realized that I can't actually do some of the things because I can't hear. And when I was trying to do, for example, overtones, it felt very weird because I was not even sure if they're coming out. Like I can feel my lips are changing or something, but the sound is not coming through that well. So I was just not sure what was happening until I would hit like a high overtone or high notes. Then I would hear it better because I think the mouthpiece starts to resonate more in my mouth. Because when I was playing lower notes, I couldn't really hear them. Like I can still hear the vibrations, but not the notes. So it was very weird because, yeah, as I said, high frequencies I think resonates more in mouth. So that's why I was able to hear them better. Yeah, so as I said, I think I started to rely more on mouth to hear stuff on those vibrations. And of course, higher frequencies was easier to hear, so I tried, I don't even know. Maybe I was actually pressing my lips more but now that I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure though, but yeah, I was. Yeah, I had some. Yeah, my thinking was different because I was just basically listening to the sound or trying to listen to the sound and not thinking that much about musical ideas as more like what sounds I can hear or cannot hear or how they would sound. So, for example, at the beginning, I was thinking just to do something similar to when I was playing without the sensory deprivation. So I did the slaps, and then I was completely surprised how that sounded, and I just stick to it and tried to do more of that just to feel it better and see if I can't actually hear it or what is happening. I was not sure, so I just stuck to some sounds and just tried to see what it feels like to play them. Um, yeah, I was not able to maintain or recreate certain sounds. I think maybe maybe I could, but like for example, the slap it sounded completely different, and I couldn't recreate it as it was before. So I'm not sure. Also, with the overtones, it was also very weird. I don't think I was able to recreate it. Um, yeah. Yeah, probably the overtones was the most challenging thing. I don't know, it just felt very weird to play them. I couldn't tell anything. Also, I tried to do like this subtone sound with a lot of air, and I couldn't hear that at all. So I was also not sure if my what is my timbre at the time. So yeah. Yeah, so what surprised me the most was probably uh, those slaps, overtones, and some timbre things that when I was playing like subtone, I couldn't hear it, or like I also tried to throat sing, and the throat singing just completely took over. I couldn't hear the saxophone because I was just hearing what's resonating in my mouth, and it was just throat singing. So that was also very weird. As I said, I couldn't hear any low notes, so I tried to do from those low notes some overtones. But so I was pressing lips more to have the higher frequencies in the sound, but it was not coming through that well. I couldn't tell. Also, when I was playing in high register, I felt that my mouth, that the sound is coming from my mouthpiece. So I was also focusing more on the mouthpiece and not on anything else. Yeah, I realized that it's very. I mean, you know the instrument. Like I think I know it well enough to play it. But when you can hear what you play, it's like you don't know it anymore. I think the most was the headphones.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest thing that took away a lot of things. With the gloves, I don't know. I felt that my technique is dropping a bit, but but it was very difficult to tell because the headphones were blocking sound. So I was trying to just have the feeling only in my fingers, but without listening, it's very hard to actually see if I'm right with the fingers. It just comes to one thing. And with water, I'm not sure. It was a bit weird that your feet felt like at one time cold, then warm and cold again. So it was like a bit weird, but I don't know how much that actually impacted my playing. I mean, sometimes it took away my attention.
Yeah, yeah.
That's definitely
That's not the point.
yeah. That's definitely the thing because sometimes it's just you're playing and just the water creates some kind of sensation in your feet and just your attention just drops to your feet. But I think that's it.
My name is Matas Samulionis. Um, yeah, so I call myself an experimental music performer, composer. But yeah, I do different genres, and I came from maybe jazz background, but I try to mix everything I got, and I've been creating some dance music, and that's also reflecting somehow maybe in my improvisations, maybe not, but somehow try to merge all the worlds I'm trying to be, all of the different worlds I'm trying to be in. So yeah, well, I think I feel that main goal for me is experimentation with sound, with form, with free music. So I don't know. Uh, Maybe that's why I call myself from experimental music, but yeah, it depends on the perspective. How much experience do you have with the improvisation? Well, I think I'm quite advanced. Advanced. I have a master degree in improvisation, and I'm doing now doctorate studies. So yeah, don't consider myself professional, and I don't know how somebody can consider themselves professionals in improvisation, like for real. But yeah, on paper, yeah, maybe on paper professional. Okay. How did I feel about my control over my sound when playing under normal conditions? So as I told to Gregory before, it was I didn't have time today to warm up, so it was my first sounds today. So but I feel comfortable. I don't know, maybe just a little bit tired at the end with doing all this circular breathing in the morning. But yeah, it felt like okay. Just I think I liked what I played. Let's see when I hear, then I will not like it maybe. And what physical sensations did you notice? Oh, when the deprivation during the deprivation phase, I tried to somehow reflect on the noise, but then I understood that I can only control that my timbre and everything that I do partially because I don't hear what I'm doing, and my fingers are clumsy because of all the gloves. And the water was not maybe strange; it was more feeling like at home, like just sitting on sofa. So it was not maybe distracting, but yeah, the eyes, the ears, the whole the noise thing. Because I think as a performer, you kind of it's in your blood to somehow reflect on the sound that you're in, and sometimes you don't have, well, the most of the times you don't have perfect conditions to play, and somebody's coughing, somebody's making just pulling beer or anything like that, and you have to work with that. And yeah, so at first my first instinct was to somehow reflect on the noise, but of course I know how the noise works. It's just noise, and you cannot reflect it. It's like well, maybe that's too much philosophy, but whatever. After like first, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds, I understood that I don't control a shit over here. And I'm just gonna play for fun. And I just caught some kind of squeaky sounds, and then some jazz like swingy melody lines, and I tried to play with that without no sense of control. Because when I play on normal conditions, improvisation music, I try to think about everything and try to remember everything and try to control everything. That's impossible, but that's my way of thinking in improvisation. And when I got this really big sensory deprivation, after like 30 or 40 seconds, I just gave up and I just did whatever. And that was fun. That was like, like feeling like a child, just, just playing with a toy, like, just whatever, just not thinking about the ending, the chords or the form or anything, just play. Yeah, sensory deprivation. So maybe I talked about sensory deprivation. I think what inner sound images, inner hearing did you use during sensory deprivation? So maybe none, because yeah, as I said before, I was kind of overwhelmed, and I understood that I have no power of changing anything. I will not hear what I'm doing. So yeah, I tried just totally different strategy. Just play, no control and no usual things that I do in improvisation. Um, did you have any new ideas for improvisation that appear only during sensory deprivation? If yes, what were they? Um, yeah, there was one idea in the beginning, but I just dropped it after like, I don't know, half of a second. After first sounds, I tried to do some kind of like a little fast phrase, and then my fingers somehow glitched, and I got some double sound of the keys. Yeah, I got some kind of a like, and I kind of liked it, or maybe I just imagined it from the noise. and I tried to mimic it and didn't happen, and I maybe understood that I'm imagining things and whatever, I just throw it away. But yeah, it was interesting. It would be interesting to try just with one deprivation and try to explore it even more, because if I would hear normally and see normally and play with gloves, maybe I would explore it more the gloves. But when you have everything, it's like, oh, a bit like whoa. So yeah, but there were some things that I could use as an instrument. Uh, if it would be like alone. If it like if it would be only just water, I would do something with my legs maybe. But when the noise coming and eyes and everything, I just forget about everything somehow. So it's kind of interesting in this sense. Were you able to maintain or recreate the intended sound changes in both conditions? No, no. In the first, I think yes. Well, it depends on the professionalism of a player. But in the first one, I felt like yeah, I could control the sound. But in the second one, no, I could not control the sound, and I heard that. I understood, because when you play sax, maybe if you're even not hearing anything, but you feel with the body vibration, with the lips vibration, that the sound is shitty or something is strange or a bit off. I don't know. So yeah, and I'm trying to change it, and yeah, I'm just jumping over the overtone, and I didn't get the one I was aiming for. So yeah, during the deprivation stage, I was like missing everything. That's why I gave up after like 30, 40 seconds. Like what? I'm like bah, 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 bah. Okay, so comparison and insights. What is the most challenging part of controlling the timbre during sensory deprivation? Yeah, so this like overwhelming deprivation, and it's kind of hard to focus your mind, and it's hard to keep sense of time. So yeah, it's a challenge that I just now somehow chose to give up, But it would be interesting to just go deeper and deeper with this and try to, look for some kind of things, because probably there is a lot of things inside with the deprivations. What surprised you the most about your performance or perception of sound in both conditions? Yeah, the gloves. The gloves were like shit. I cannot do anything with my fingers. Like so yeah, the noise is quite okay with me. I like to listen to noise in the evenings. It's good and I like it, but yeah, eyes and gloves were like a different thing for me, and it was like super strange. Like, and I was surprised because the eyes were important, because I always play like closed, with eyes closed when I play improv, but when but you have the opportunity to open your eyes, but when it's closed like that, it's totally different feeling than just playing like that. So it was maybe strange. mm, what did you learn about your ability to control timbre in these two different conditions? Yeah, so maybe I did not learn it, I already know it, that yeah, it depends on the context, how you are able to control your output of your sound, and more distractions or ideas are coming, the less you are able to control it. And we are humans; we cannot control it everything. But as professionals, we try to research and find these common grounds to what we can control and what not. So
When you play the deprivation,
mm,
did you feel that you have this muscles memory, body memory?
mm-hmm.
I mean, about your embouchure. What the main thing how you control this?
Mm.
What helped you to control the
Mm-hmm.
embouchure?
Yeah.
Or
I was
breathing?
focusing on both, on breathing, on the diaphragm, and on my lips. And yeah, as I said, like I was feeling vibrations, different vibrations, and I was aiming for some kind of overtone or double overtone or something, and I can feel that it's not coming, and I tried to change it, but I overjump it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
lips and diaphragm.
My name is Artem Zalisko. I've been playing improvisational music for 3 years now. What genres of music do I usually play? Uh, I started with jazz. Now I'm doing contemporary improvisational music, mostly improvisational music, I would say, right now. Jazz in a lesser form, like lesser amount of time. And yeah, how much experience do you have with improvisation? I consider myself being either advanced or professional, uh, since it's been around 3 years working with highly professional musicians, legendary musicians in some sort, in some sense. So yeah, either advanced or professional. Maybe my uh, humbleness doesn't allow me to say that I'm a professional, but could be. All right. General perception and feelings. How did you feel about your control over the sound, timbre, when playing under normal conditions? I felt like I have full control because, well, it's normal conditions. I am used to play this way. I know how everything works. I know what buttons I want to press. I know what techniques I want to use, and I use them successfully. So it was very comfortable, same as always, because this is what we're working on while we're practicing. How did your sense of control over the sound change during sensory deprivation? Well, I only heard a pitch. I did not hear or feel any overtones while I was playing. So the sound really felt very, very, very thin, I would say. Since I was wearing gloves, gloves were also limiting me in a way. So I maybe technically while playing some fast phrases, I wasn't able to play them as technically good as I am able to perform them normally. Uh, what changes in your embouchure or breathing techniques did you notice when you could not hear or see? It's hard to tell since when I was doing slap tongue, I was I wasn't I didn't hear the effect of the slap like completely. It was absent. I was just feeling I was just using my muscle memory. I felt I felt some sort of a hit on an embouchure, sorry, on a mouthpiece and the reed, but I didn't feel the effect it made. In terms of embouchure, there was I think there was no change. However, I did feel insecure about this because I usually whenever I play in normal conditions. Well, if I hear that something is off with the sound, I just adjust the embouchure and I fix it while I play. Right now, since I wasn't able to fully hear my timbre, I I was not able to shift my embouchure. I was not able to fix anything, so it was a little bit, yeah, situation of insecurity at this point. Breathing remained normal, but then again, breathing is also a thing that kind of like is adjustable during normal conditions. Whenever in normal conditions I feel like something's off in my playing, like let's say I don't put enough warm air or there is not enough air on high notes, I instantly fix that and I yeah I instantly fix that. However, in these conditions, in sensory deprivation conditions, I wasn't able to hear my own timbre. I wasn't able to hear it as fully as possible. Therefore, I was paralyzed and I was not able to fix um, any problems. I'm not even aware whether I had any problems with my timbre or pitch or any other things that I use in normal conditions. What inner sound images, inner hearing, did you use during sensory deprivation? Were they clearer or less clear than usual? It felt very closed, like as if I was like closed inside of my skull, inside of my brain, and like running around the dark room, completely trapped and bouncing off different walls. So I I didn't hear, to be honest, anything musical happening in my mind, in my head. I was just, but to be honest, to be fair, usually when I play normally without sensory deprivation, I cannot say that I like hear a phrase or like hear some sort of a idea and like instantly produce it. Sometimes I do. Usually, most of the times, it's some sort of an impulse while I play. Like I feel an impulse and I just trust it and I just go with it and I just, well, produce it. As a result, it happens to be a musical idea that comes out of me. But there is no exact phrase. There is no exact musical idea that I hear in my mind. It is more intuitive. So this intuition situation actually remained. I played intuitively just as I usually do. I didn't think a lot, but however, I was aware of musical parameters that I am producing, and I was trying to logically develop them as as if I wasn't sensory deprived. So the musical parameters, but but I definitely had to use more of my imagination to be aware of, to be better aware of what I am doing, what I am playing. Improvisation and musical thinking. Did you have any ideas for improvisation that appeared only during sensory deprivation? If yes, what were they? Yes, I definitely had. Those ideas were just try to check out how the different uh, extended techniques on saxophone, like slap tonguing, like multiphonics, how these extended techniques sound and what they feel like. Like, like I said earlier, with the slap tonguing, I could not hear the effect it made. I could not hear any consequences. I was just aware of the like physical effect on my body, like the the reed hitting the mouthpiece, and I felt that in my body, in my mouth, and on my teeth even. Um, so I was open to try out as many things as I didn't try out everything, but multiphonics, slap tonguing, and different kinds of slap tonguing. Uh, this I tried. So yeah. Were you able to maintain or recreate the intended sound changes in both conditions? Why or why not? I think it's hard to tell because I still haven't heard the recording of me playing sensory deprived. So it's hard to tell whether I was able to recreate the intended sound changes in both conditions. But I played I played some similar techniques in both states, in normal state and in sensory deprived state, and I'm not sure. Like in sensory deprivation state, it was hard to tell whether I produced the techniques and the sounds and musical ideas uh, in a way that I wanted to produce them. I was just basically relying on the muscle memory of my tongue and my embouchure and my fingers, and obviously my diaphragm. What was the most challenging part of controlling the timbre during sensory deprivation? Why? The most challenging part was probably on multiphonics, because whenever I play multiphonics, I rely on my hearing like very very much. It's very crucial to me because some multiphonics are easy to produce, the other ones are a little bit harder, and the ones that are a little bit harder, well, they require like adjustments sometimes while you're playing, like while being sensory deprived, I remember it was very hard to produce one multiphonic because I was not sure. It was very subtle, it was very quiet, and I was not sure whether I'm doing it right, whether it goes out, whether or not. Other aspects of controlling timbre, once again, since everything I heard was just a pitch without any overtones, without the whole the wide part of the sound, I am not able to answer this question because I don't have that information for now. I don't know whether my sound changed. What surprised you the most about your performance or perception of sound in both conditions? Well, surprised me the most that probably the fact that I felt slap tonguing with my body. I felt a lot of stuff with my body. Basically, it's like the sound resonated back at me. As if I was playing to the wall, like straight. Uh, what's what did you learn about your ability to control timbre in these two different conditions? Well, for now I learned nothing because I haven't heard the results. Probably if I hear the results and the sound is not that different, I would make a conclusion that my muscle memory is good enough for me to basically produce the same quality of the sound even when I am sensory deprived. But I learned, maybe I learned the fact that water doesn't affect anything. Like my feet were soaked, but I just completely forgot about them. The most challenging part that I learned was the hearing, the loss of hearing. Like you're just unable to make conclusions and to evaluate yourself.
My name is Gregory Haronieka, and I'm doing this experiment, and I also participant of this experiment. And I play improvisation around 4 years, and before I was playing academic music, contemporary music, and improvisational music. So my playing have a focus to sound new timbral techniques, and I'm doing research about the multi-dimensional timbral control on the saxophone. Uh, in normal playing, I felt that I can control everything because I practice quite a lot. I was sure about what I play. I could control all details, and I was focused to control some details. So I was in good feeling about playing. When I start to play with all the set of sensoric deprivation, I'm understood that it's quite interesting. I can hear the pitch, and it makes sense because soprano the highest, kind of one of the highest instruments, saxophone instruments, and but I didn't feel any resonance and acoustic elements because usually when you play, you can hear some echo or something from acoustic. Here, I didn't hear this at all. I felt some body resonance and my face and embouchure resonance, even teeth, I think. And it's kind of what I found interesting. About the embouchure, I think I control this automatically. I didn't think so much because I took the focus about what I'm doing with embouchure, and I understood that my muscles probably know what to do better than my brain and my mind, and I just trust to my embouchure, and the result. I don't know about the result. I didn't hear, but I think it's gonna be interesting to listen. how I imagine sound, it was completely different because yeah, usually I'm imagine sound as some way or form, how, like what form you create about sound. It could be warmer or colder, but in my mind is kind of form. I see sound like some forms, different forms. And with sensoric deprivation, of course, I lose this feeling about forms because I couldn't recognize this. uh, I felt that it's like always some very straight form, just some skeleton of the sound. Let's say like this, and it was quite interesting and maybe a bit uncomfortable because I usually when you play even one sound, you can find a lot of things into this, and it could be developed like in real time, different even one pitch sound. Here I understood that about improvisation, that it's very difficult to play one sound and feel happy when you're doing something, a lot of things with one sound, a lot of details. I lose this feeling. So uh, I maybe because I played more like linear my improvisation. Uh, about new ideas, I think the most new idea was try to find something interesting with sound when you deprivate it like this, and maybe it was the impulse to play some interesting and let's say hard techniques like multiphonics, when you have to control like very a lot of details and hear resonations, because it's like multiphonic is a lot of sound in one. And the new ideas we kind of try to play this and adapt it in real time. If to compare these two conditions, when you play normal and deprivated, that I think that when I play normal, it was difficult to play and open and always keep your eyes open, because usually when I play the concert improvisation, I close my eyes, and even I had some stories when I played improvisation like straight to the audience and finished face to the wall, and it was quite fun. And I still don't know if I played and first playing like and open my eyes everything, because I couldn't control this well. And so I can say that in normal situation I'm already play with visual deprivation, and it was interesting. And the full deprivation, yeah, I felt that I would like to try play more, even longer, to find some more insights of this. Uh, was the most challenging for me to control the timbre? Uh, I think the multiphonics in these microcontrol things, when you kind of move your embouchure and it's so little details, and it was very difficult to control and challenging. Also, I found interesting when I play the overtones. So I don't know. I still don't know. I think I play overtones. So my lips position embouchure play overtones, but I didn't hear if I played. And but I felt the resonation somewhere here when I changed the position of my kind of embouchure or briefing, and it's resonate here. And it's like I imagine this when singer play overtones and switch the resonations, and I felt this like physically. I didn't hear it's like an acoustic way, but I felt this physically, and it's actually surprised me quite a lot, maybe the most. Uh, yeah, this feeling with body, I think it definitely makes sense if you wanna feel how your body work when you're playing, and kind of have more focus to this. I think it's quite important because when we are sax players and we musicians in general, we have to analyze a lot of inside feelings, and because we cannot see what happened in our body inside from the briefing point, from the embouchure point, and it's kind of helped me maybe if I would play longer, understand more these body feelings. What I learned about two different conditions. I think if you want to control timbre from physical perspective and from body feeling perspective, it makes sense try to practice like this actually quite long time. Like in improvisation, improvisers work a lot of working a lot with the limitations, and it's also kind of interesting limitation of your timbre control, and you can do this as a practice, like practical way, and then we see a result. Maybe next time I will try to take some like months of this, like every day, like some schedule of this thing, and try to do this more deeply.